I'd like to apologize to the victim in this case. I have to make this my last time in jail, and I plan to.
You've had a lifetime of criminal activity, but none worse than what has occurred here.
Out of here, man.
Judge.
No,
And-
I took my plea back, man. Get the out of here, man. Get me out of here. Get me out of here, man. Get me out of here, man.
Almost done, Judge.
Get the out of here.
And they,
No, man, get me out of here. Get me out of here, man. What the get me the out of here.
Today's hearing involves a case that immediately puts the seriousness of the situation into perspective. I won't go into unnecessary details, but the case involves a young victim who should have been able to feel safe around the person involved. Despite the seriousness of the allegations, the defendant appears to focus heavily on alcohol as an explanation for his actions, rather than taking full responsibility for the choices he made. Alcohol may affect judgment, but it does not make decisions on someone's behalf. Stay with me, because the judge's reaction later in this hearing becomes one of the most intense moments of the case.
Foremost, I'd like to apologize to the courts for appearing before them today. I'd like to apologize to the victim in this case. I'm not going to use alcohol or drugs as an excuse for anything. However, alcohol was a main factor in this case. But I take full responsibility for my actions because I chose to make the irresponsible decision consuming too much alcohol than I could handle, causing poor, regretful choices leading to my incarceration. I've read the police reports and feel ashamed, embarrassed, and hurt because that's not the person I am. And I wouldn't be standing here today if I would have just been more responsible. I have 4 younger children that I've let down because of being locked away from them, missing out on watching them grow. Having to deal with that is a heartache alone. The only thing I can do now is work on myself while incarcerated, take advantage of all programs they offer, and become a better man and a better father, and not give up doing so. I have to make this my last time in jail, and I plan to. I'm sincerely remorseful to my victim in this case, letting her down when I was supposed to be a father figure in her life. I beat myself up over this every day. Over this, wishing I could take it all back. I just hope she can grow up in life and leave this in the past, and that it doesn't affect her future. Again, I'm sorry to everyone I caused pain to in this case.
thank you. Why did you call her after you were in jail?
Because I was told by the detective I was allowed to.
Okay.
I didn't call her, I called my wife and she answered the phone.
Right. And what contact did you have with her about retracting her statement or modifying her
It
statement?
wasn't retracting. We talked about counseling, going to counseling and stuff, because that was something that they was talking about making them do. And something she said she didn't want to do.
Well, trying to, whether directly contacting her or contacting her through your wife, was wholly inappropriate. And it was further evidence of you trying to take advantage of her at that young age, like you did when this happened.
Now she asked the detective if she could have contact with me when this case was all started. And then when I went to my preliminary hearing on February 11th, I asked the detective and he told me the same thing.
All right. Well, you're experienced enough in the system to have the wisdom that you shouldn't have been contacting her. Okay. In talking to her, having about anything having to do with this case. So, you've in your statement you say you apologize to her, but then in the pre-sentence report you talk about how you don't believe you did everything you're accused of doing and wanted to take this to trial. What's that all about?
I don't remember exactly what I said, Your Honor, but what I was saying was I don't have recollection of what happened the night of. So I wasn't admitting to, I don't know.
That may be one of the quickest contradictions you can hear in a courtroom. He says he is not trying to make excuses, but almost immediately starts explaining why his actions happened. The apology also comes across as focused more on avoiding a harsher sentence than on fully accepting responsibility. Then he talks about being a good father and a devoted family man, But those responsibilities existed before the offense as well. Family can be an important part of someone's life, but it does not erase the choices that were made. Another serious issue is the allegation that he tried to influence the victim's statement. That makes his claims of remorse even more difficult to accept at face value. Judges hear apologies and explanations from defendants all the time. Over the years, they learn to distinguish genuine accountability from someone who is mainly worried about the consequences. Based on what we hear here, the bigger question is whether this was true remorse or simply fear of what was coming next.
So did you or didn't you do this stuff?
Yes.
And I got to tell you, it doesn't get much worse than this kind of stuff.
I understand.
And I would note in the record that in 2009 or 2010, you were sentenced to prison on a burglary, released on judicial release, and then returned to prison after a violation of the judicial release. And you were released January 7th of 13. You went back to prison on another case on May 1st of 13 and got out in August. Went to prison on an attempted burglary, trespass and a habitation, breaking and entering June 23 of 16 through August 5 of 18. A whole bunch of theft offenses between that last prison sentence and where you are today. So you've had a lifetime of criminal activity, but none worse than what has occurred here. So I've reviewed the pre-sentence report and a victim impact statement. I've considered what you have said, what counsel has said, and I've also considered that they've made a joint recommendation of 96 months in prison. And so on count, and I've considered all the provisions in 29, 29, 11, 29, 29, 12, 13, and 14. In consideration of all that, on count 5, I'm going to sentence you to a term of 60 months. On count 6, I'm going to sentence you to a term of 60 months that will be consecutive to one another, with credit for 143 days. And consecutive sentences are necessary to protect the public from future crime by you and for appropriate punishment.
All right, get out, man. Come on, man.
Sit down.
Me, man.
Stay down.
No, man. Get me the out of here, man.
Judge.
Come on.
And-
Took my plea back, man. Get me the out of here, man. Get me out of here. Get me out of here, man.
Sit down.
Get me out of here, man.
Almost done, Judge.
Get me the out of here.
And they
No, man. Get me out of here. Get me
consecutive.
out of here, man. What the please, nigga? Get me the out of here. Man, get me the out of here, man.
Let me get my leg.
Get me out of here, man.
Just take him into the chair.
Okay, we're in this chair.
All right.
We're fixing tomorrow.
Put me on your visiting list for jail and prison.
All right, man. Stop touching me, man. I'm not doing this, man. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing.
The most revealing part of this hearing may be what happened when things did not go his way. It is easy for someone to appear remorseful while hoping for a favorable outcome. The real test comes when the court says no. His reaction at that point may have said more than the apology itself. You cannot spend several minutes asking the court for understanding and then become angry when the decision does not go your way. Real accountability means accepting the consequences, even when the outcome is difficult. So, what do you think? Was his apology genuine, or was he mainly trying to convince the court to reduce his sentence? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.